Hi, everyone, and welcome to the End of Life Journey and Beyond, the Sands of Time. My name is Lisa Strahs-Lorenc, and I am a bereavement support specialist. And it's good to see you, Susan, as always.
Oh, so great to see you, Lisa. What a special time of year.
Yes.
And hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. The holidays are approaching. They're
Mhm.
approaching quicker, should I say, than expected. I couldn't believe the date already. Today is December, believe it or not. Um, and I know for many of us watching, there will be an empty chair at the table this year. That mix of twinkling lights that I find still after 10 years, and tears is something that no one can prepare you for. So, losing a close loved one, like both Lisa and I have, today we wanted to take a little journey to find ways to honor our memories while still allowing ourselves moments of joy during the holiday season. And we want to share with you some heartfelt ideas that might help you navigate some of these complicated emotions, and hoping that they bring you some comfort too. And remember, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. We're not here to tell you that, especially during the holiday seasons. But I believe we can create new meaning while keeping their spirit alive in everything that we do.
Well,
So I know you're a little bit better at that than I am, Lisa. So let's start with you today.
aw. Well, as I have mentioned previously, sometimes you have to transform a holiday into something else, and that evolution, I think, is very helpful. I do want to say one important thing. It is still important that we all accept that you can be very sad and feel that loss at the same time as trying to celebrate and move forward in these holidays. That dichotomy is a really interesting conflict, but they remain in the same feelings. So I just want everybody to know that nothing will ever be the same. We all accept that. We all understand that. But trying to move something and create something new is really part of what I try to do with people. So I've done it with myself. I've mentioned the winter solstice before, but I will say that the winter solstice going from our family holiday to a girls' night out, where all my girlfriends, either virtually or in person, celebrate with that same fondue, with the same chocolate and the same stories and all, is still really a nice feeling of creating a wonderful feeling of camaraderie. And I've been doing that for 15 years now. And people change, and sometimes they're in person, sometimes they're not. But the fact that I've been able to round up my girlfriends and share the year together in that time period is very, very special. I want to mention also the winter solstice tree, which is not a Christmas tree. It is what I call a tree of life. And everything on it is usually something that either from a trip, from an experience, from a friend, it's representative of memories. So I've added new ones. I added a cruise ship this year because I did go on a cruise. And then I also added some memory things because I lost a number of people this year as well. So memories also, ornaments sit on the tree. So that's one important thing, transforming something that was a certain way into something else that could be beautiful and that you can embrace. I want to give one more example. And the other example, I have lost my picture and I don't know where I went to here. I apologize, folks. I have,
I can see you, Lisa,
you can see
so it may
me.
be
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
I had lost my background, but it's
I
back now,
love
so we're
technology.
doing okay.
Yeah, isn't it wonderful? Okay. Um, so the other thing I want to talk about is something I created last year, and I really like it. I think that people enjoyed it, and that was a spouses celebratory luncheon. And people who I have invited, they're all widows, celebrate their spouses by bringing their favorite food and a story to match about that food. And you also suggested that we have a picture of them so that they're sitting sort of with us, which I love that idea. And so I'm going to do it again this year. I think it's a wonderful way to remember and also to celebrate the holidays together and our spouses. So I love the idea, and I'm very excited about hosting it again. So we'll see who shows
Yeah.
up and see who wants to be part of it. So,
And that is a wonderful idea. You happen to be in a place, Lisa, where I apologize for the barking dog if you can hear her.
no, cannot.
Um, and you happen to be in a place where you know a lot of widows,
Yes.
right? You know a lot of widows in your life, and not everybody does. But if you do, that is a beautiful idea. And I love that idea, to make their favorite and bring some to share with everybody and to have their picture on the table.
Yes.
That's absolutely wonderful. Um, and there are things that we can tweak a little bit in our lives and change the story a little bit. It may not be exactly the same. Uh, and the one that comes to my mind is I've talked about it before in years past about the decorating of my Christmas tree, right? So it was always the colorful lights and the colorful ornaments and all the kids' ornaments. And a year or so, maybe 2 years after he passed, I needed to change something up in a way that would honor me as well. Not always. And I don't mean this in a bad way because I did go to my sister-in-law's for Thanksgiving. She already has her tree up and all the kids' ornaments are on there and it's all colorful. And I love that. I honor that. I just happen to need something a little differently because we did those ornaments together and it was really painful for me to do those ornaments. Forget it. I forget putting a song on Alexa, because I would unravel, with the music. It makes me do that sometimes. Um, so what I started to do was take a little of the color away, and I started making my tree gold and silver. And then last year, I even bought I do real trees, and then I had a fake one, but the fake one was getting old, so I bought a new fake one. But it was one of the green that looks like it has snow all over it.
Yeah.
It was expensive, but it was really beautiful. And it looks so nice with all the silver and gold. And it makes me smile. And it's a way that I've changed it up a little bit. I've added each year, I add one or two fairy light trees, the white birch trees, and I put them in different areas of the house. And seeing that glow light up like that gives me such a warm and loving feeling. I never had my fairy lights and fairy light trees when my husband was here. I don't know if he would have liked it or not. Maybe, I don't know. But this is something new that I've been able to make me feel good.
I love
And
that.
everybody, I don't even know if anybody notices. They just think it's beautiful and the kids think it's beautiful and nobody says anything, but it gives it a whole new vibe to me and makes me feel warm in a different kind of a way.
Yeah.
So that's an
Yeah.
example that I have. Um, even even with doing different things, right? Some people just don't want to celebrate and have people over, but we've talked about this in the past with candlelight ceremonies and everybody telling a story about your loved one who's passed. And even inviting
Yes.
new people that did not know your loved ones. Sometimes that's kind of nice too,
That's
because you have a different perspective within the room.
right.
And instead of everybody being so sad, some people are happier in other ways.
Yes.
So we have to be flexible to that, right?
Yes, yes, yes. To me, the danger is trying to make it the same or thinking, all right, it's going to be fine and I'll just do what I always did. And then
Right.
expecting the same feeling, but you're not going to feel the same, you know,
Right.
and and that's sad. That's really sad because
Yeah,
that becomes even more depressing for somebody.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mentioned this earlier, Lisa. It also, for our loved ones, maybe it was a parent or a grandparent, that had that awesome recipe that was a family tradition, maybe gingerbread cookies or gingerbread houses, right? And it hurts too much. It hurts too much to make the gingerbread cookies anymore. How do we do that when they don't taste the same? You can't make those ingredients like she did. So how can we tweak that and change that up a little? And maybe that is to make gingerbread houses this year,
Or
or to
maybe,
make a different
yeah,
a gingerbread type of
yeah,
cookie and maybe a different with a different recipe,
yes,
right?
yes, yes. You see, I don't do,
So,
we had a whole village, the whole Dickens village and all that stuff. I don't do that anymore. I gave it all away. And I'm okay with that because that was
right,
something we did. And it was something that I didn't need or want to do anymore. And it was time to give it up. I sold all of them, all the trains, all the houses. I mean, we had a whole thing, took up
right.
the whole house.
And to somebody else listening to that right now, they may think, "What? How could you have done that?" But again, we're all different in how we feel and what we need and what makes us feel right. And that was just too much. It
That's
was too much for you.
that's right.
Um, also let's make reference to doing things for others,
Mm,
you
love
know, during the holidays when it's really hard. If you don't have a lot of people around you, there are so many opportunities out there in our communities to volunteer
it. Yeah.
during the holidays. Um,
Let me
be a part
mention,
of a fundraiser. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, let me mention Volunteer Match. That's a site here on Long Island, and they'll match you. Just write down some of the availability, times and such, and they'll suggest, ideas and matches for you. So that's something.
Yeah,
Volunteer
that's
Match.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you for that.
sure,
You
sure.
know, um, and another thing that we have talked about through many videos, Lisa, is to change your scenery.
That's right. That's right.
There's a challenge to be in the same space
Yeah.
and to see an emptiness. Um, if you have that emptiness, again, not everybody does.
Right.
Maybe people have even more people coming now, into your home, and that can change it up a little bit. But when things are familiar and they're not anymore, so I would say, and some of the things that I want to focus on more in my life, and maybe it should be around the holiday time, maybe a little bit of traveling
Yeah.
during the holiday time. I would love to go to Switzerland and Germany and see the Christmas
Mm,
villages that they set up and the stores. And there are things that I still want to do. So maybe finding some of those things to do during a holiday time could be really good for you,
yeah.
right? To
That's a,
create new memories.
that's a great idea. And connecting again with friends that maybe it's been a
Hmm.
long time since you've been together or seen each other, the phone calls to people, the outreach, very heartfelt during the
Yeah.
holidays. And I do a holiday letter. Now, the only time and the only year that I did not do my holiday letter was the year that my husband died. And my children took over that letter that year. But we've been doing holiday letters for years. And I have done it every other year besides that. So sometimes a holiday letter talking about the year and who you are and connecting to people is very reassuring and helpful. And if it's not, don't do it. That's the other thing. You got to listen to yourself, to your feelings, to what it tells you to do, and follow that. Go with that. Don't worry about I should do this, I should do that. Why aren't I feeling this? No, don't get into that. Really.
Think
However,
about
try.
exactly.
Yeah.
Think about incorporating nature. Maybe your family members don't want to go to the beach and do something a little bit different and have a picnic during the holiday or a park. Although that would be really nice. But some kind of nature. Maybe everybody could do a hike together that you haven't done in the past. And maybe that will be something that you love doing and can do it every year. I remember when my mother-in-law passed and the first year, and we all got together at her house and had a Thanksgiving and or a turkey, whatever we made for Christmas, lasagna, whatever it was. But um, one of the guys went to the local nursery and bought a tree, a baby tree that we could plant in the yard. So they dug the hole, and all the kids were out there, and we all surrounded it. And we planted the tree and then said a prayer, and everybody said a little something. And that was a way to celebrate. But you're bringing in nature, and nature's very healing.
That's
That's
beautiful.
really
That's
important.
beautiful. Now, talking about trees, I've had to change it up, and I could dwell on what wasn't. I don't. But we always bought live trees with a beautiful root ball, always planted them in our yard. And in my house, there were pine trees everywhere. Okay, I moved. I didn't move any of those trees. They stayed there. And now where I am, I don't have a live tree anymore. I have a plastic tree. And at first, it's very hard. It's different, doesn't have the same smell and doesn't have the same look and the same feel. However, I've come to accept that this is what it is now. And I'm still decorating a really pretty tree, and I'm still doing something that has meaning to me. So again, you have those feelings, a lot of different feelings, and you have to embrace them and you have to say that's okay. It's okay that I'm a little sad that I don't plant trees anymore in my yard. But I still have a beautiful tree with wonderful memories and new memories that I'm making. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think being in
Finding ways
touch.
to change it up. But
Yes.
don't forget how important self-care is.
Yes.
And it's easy for us to talk about it, Lisa, but we've neglected self-care in the past in ways too. Everybody does. So it's important, especially to give yourself permission to set boundaries,
Yeah.
not to have to always say yes to things,
Right.
to learn to say no, and to create quiet moments for yourself during the holidays. Some families, my family's gotten a lot quieter now over the years, but some families I know that they're so loud and there's holiday chaos, and some can be dramatic and some can even be toxic, right? So you don't have to partake in that. No, you don't. You can create quiet moments and quiet times. And if you go somewhere and stay for an hour or two, then that's that. And that's what you choose to do,
Right, right. Yeah, watch the
you
have
know?
tos, okay? Think about, do I really have to do that? You know, I think that's really important that you're in touch with permission. Permission, like
Yeah.
you said, to leave something, permission not to be involved with something that you really don't want to be involved with. And that's a part of self-care too, because you're allowing yourself to say no, or you're allowing yourself to do something else that's more important to you or meaningful to you, or just be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all part
You
of.
know,
Yeah.
and it's very, we talk about honoring them, and we do everything we can to honor them and celebrate them, and even to honor our children. The 2 years after my husband passed, we did Disney a lot. We have a timeshare in Florida, and I made it a point of making these extravagant trips, not doing the regular timeshare and buying the Disney park pass, but to do things that we've never done in Orlando, to take them outside of the box. And they had the skydiving, the indoor skydiving. I did that. I did different things with them so that they weren't just the family memories, but knowing that we can create new ones. Okay, so I was all about honoring them, honoring them, honoring them. We have to honor us and our emotional needs.
Yep.
And so often we don't, and this is really, 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 really important because it's okay. Nobody else will honor your needs. And even if it's your best friend who hugs you and says, call me anytime during the day or night,
Yeah.
24/7. Well, that's great. But, for the other 23 hours of the day, you're by yourself.
That's
You
right.
have to honor your own emotional needs and know that it's okay.
Yep.
Know that it's okay
Yep.
to just be and be who you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Which was the first thing that first year that I did. Did not do my winter solstice. I did something really out of the ordinary for me. I went to Gurney's all the way out east and did a night thing. And I had swimming and I had some massages and spas and things like that. And I had dinner in my room. I didn't really want to go out. And the snow came the next day, and I felt like it was a message because we always walked in the snow. And it was just something I did for me. And it was so important, so out of character for me to do that, but it was wonderful. The best thing I could have done. Yeah.
Right. That was great.
Yeah.
And, another thing is, and this is a really good point, this has happened to me as well, so I feel it when I say it. Reimagine gift giving. Okay. And I'll tell you how it happened in my own family, losing a spouse, because it was all about the things. It was always about the things, how many gifts there, and tons. We gave our kids tons of gifts every year, even when they were babies and we didn't have the money. Well, I was at the dollar store spending $75 on dollar store gifts, but it was always about the stuff. Okay, clothes and jewelry and whatever, you get the stuff. Well, it slowly became a little bit different, to where now I wanted them to enjoy life. So it became about the experiences and doing things. Be careful with this one though, because as with myself, it gets you a little bit into trouble. And I've been doing this now every year. And now that they have significant others, it's nice because I buy a trip somewhere for them to go and an experience for them to take. But I've been trying to outdo myself every year. And finally, now it's a decade later, and the madness has to stop.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
The
does. You become,
madness has to stop.
yeah, it does.
So I have to get a rein on that this year. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I am thinking about it because it has to be done.
Yeah.
And self-care presents for friends if you have friends that are grieving, you know things that make them feel good now.
Yeah.
Forget about the sweater or the even the slippers or the, I don't know, try and find more meaningful things. I have a friend in Florida, and I was speaking about, I'll be moving out of my home after 30 years soon.
Mm.
And I was talking about fear of the unknown. And it's all about the fear of many different things that I'm going through before this move takes place.
Sure.
Right. So she sends me, and it's not even Christmas.
Yeah.
She mails me a beautiful box with a bracelet on. Oh, I have it on. I
Okay.
have it. I don't know if you could see it. Um,
Yeah, it's pretty. And what does it say?
it says, faith over fear.
Hmm. Nice.
And I got the chills, first of all, just getting it and reading that. But then the little card that came with it was a whole big long paragraph about why you need to conquer your fear with faith and how to overcome that and change your perspective about it. And the copy was so well written, I can't even tell you. It was so beautiful that it really did bring a tear to my eye. I thought, wow,
Nice.
this is absolutely true. She's right. That's a thoughtful
That's a
gift.
very thoughtful gift. Yep.
Right. So you need to do some research. And if you have a friend who's grieving, forget the sweater and the slippers, although they make you feel warm and the scarf does too. And you could say that in the card, but find something with a little bit more meaning, like that
Yeah.
really blew me away.
Beautiful.
So we could think of reimagining on gift giving, right? And do it
Yes.
in a little bit different ways.
Yes. And also getting together. And getting together is also a gift, by the way, you know?
Hmm.
So seeing somebody who you hadn't seen in a long time, or connecting again, going to lunch together, doing something together, that's a gift too.
And when we're younger, also, we just take it for granted, really. But we do that all the time, and we go out drinking and at night and having fun. And the change in growing older, I'm finding, is that those more intimate times and that conversation, the conversation and really connecting with another person is really, really meaningful
Yeah.
and makes experiences magical. So you need to seek them out, and they can happen with new people in your life too.
Yeah, they can.
And that can be hard. That's for another video, another show, but
Yeah.
sometimes that's really hard to do. And one of the last things I think about, and we've spoken about this, one of our highest viewed videos actually about the digital tributes that we can do for the people that we love. And now's the great time of the year to do it because we can create online lasting memories and share them socially with people in our lives. And technology is just amazing these days, and it can help preserve and share your memories at the same time. So, Lisa,
I
I mean,
continue.
you do
Yep.
this all the time.
Yep.
What's the name of that website again? Because it was absolutely beautiful.
So it's the eternalportal.com. So I continue to add candles, my virtual candles, my virtual flowers, the journal, things that I want to put in, pictures to update so that things are updated in that place. That's where I honor my husband's memory. So it's still that,
Yeah.
still wish him happy birthday, remembering your birthday today, remembering our anniversary. I still do all that. It makes me feel like,
And that's had everlasting and extensive and profound feelings for you by
yeah,
doing this.
it has. It has.
I'll never forget. I knew you wanted to do that video and show everybody how to use the portal. And I was like, oh, Lisa, not everybody wants to create a memorial on a portal. And I remember thinking that way. And usually I'm open to everything, right, Lisa?
Yes.
But for some reason with this, I'm like, oh, it's not going to be for everybody. And it was mind blowing. So
It's the most
I couldn't believe
requested
how
video of
absolutely
everything we've
beautiful.
ever done. And we've done a lot of videos. We're up to
Very
160
self-explanatory. Lisa explained it very well. And it's the eternalportal.com.
portal.com. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So make sure
I,
you check that out.
yeah, yeah. And what's nice about it is that it can be a family thing. Your kids are probably really great technology wise, and so they can contribute and they can form different things and ideas, and you can do it as a family project together. It's really nice.
And speaking of family, you've been doing a lot of that, different
Yeah,
things with your grandchildren,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But one point that I do want to make, and I don't have grandchildren yet, but one thing that is amazing and you should be very proud of is that you do keep their grandpa's memory alive in their thoughts and in their minds, and you do it in different ways.
Yes, I do.
Grandpa used to love to do this, he loved to do that. You've made him known
Yes.
in their eyes and in their minds.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's really, really special to be able to do that.
it
So
is.
that's something that you can do with all your grandchildren or nieces and nephews, and it can be as simple as having a get together and everybody telling a story so that the younger ones are listening to these stories,
Yes.
and having some photos out so that they're feeling the memory.
Yeah.
Everybody can do that.
I'm going to mention again the site just because it is free unless you want to become a member. And every month, I just sent out everything for November of, some ideas and things that you could do whether you're in person or whether you're long distance, and some cute ideas. And so the next season, the holiday season, will be coming and we'll be talking
Well,
about
Lisa, nobody knows what you're talking
I'm
about
going to
right
tell
now.
you right
So
now. So it's
tell them.
www.funwithgrands.net. It is a website created by me and
Spell
my
that.
granddaughters, FUNWITHGRANDS,
Right.
funwithgrands.net. And you can go on it and you can subscribe and get our monthly little newsletter. So we just give a few ideas. And then you can search by the age of your grandchild, and it goes up through high school, or you could search by distance, the long distance versus the in-person. So we have a bunch of ideas there. And as I said, once you subscribe, then you get more ideas every month. And if you become a member, you get real detailed ideas, and there's even group discussions about the challenge of being a long distance grandparent, about different things in your grandchildren's lives. We created it so that we could have a lasting way of connecting to our grandchildren. And
Exactly.
that's the legacy
Perfect.
that you do perfectly, with families.
And I,
That's
and I want to make mention of the legacy because most of the projects I do are for people that are still here,
Yep.
and we create their own legacy. However, I had a couple see me I was at an over 55 fair and I had a table with some of my projects, and he was so in awe about the book project that I do that he wanted to create this with his wife, but she had recently got Alzheimer's.
Mm.
So they went home, he took my card, and the Alzheimer's progressed pretty quickly, and he spent the next year and a half with her. And as soon as she passed, he dialed me and he said, "How can we create this book in her memory?" And I thought, wow, okay, I haven't done that before, but I'm sure I can. And the one thing I did tell him is that we're going to hang up this phone. She just passed away. He was crying the whole time while he was talking to me. He needed to wait 6 months or so at least before he could call me and we could have the conversation. So that's exactly what he did. And when he called back, I went and I met with him. I showed him the book. He was over the moon. And we created this book about their lives together. But then the whole second half was in honor of her from the day she was born, growing up, meeting him, and her family. And it was just amazing. And in turn, he bought 5 copies to send to all his relatives here in the States. And he came from South America and he bought 6 copies that we converted into Spanish, which was a project to send to all his family down there. And I want to add this, Lisa, that recently he sent me a video that they had a party down in South America, and all of the extended family that had received one of these books, they were all invited and they all came to the party. And the video was all about them holding up their books and talking about how grateful they are to have these treasures in their life. So they'll always remember their daughter, granddaughter, niece, friend, and loved one. So
Susan,
that was
what a
really,
gift.
really beautiful.
What an
So what a
amazing
gift,
gift
right?
you gave.
Really, really special.
Yeah.
So reach out to Lisa and I for either one of these things. And what I do want to just note today for everybody listening is the holidays are never going to be the same without them,
Right.
no matter who you've lost in your life.
That's right.
Okay. And that's okay
Yeah.
because we're not trying to replace what or who we've lost, but today we're trying to create something new that honors both their memory and our need to keep on living, to keep on keeping on, right? So remember to be gentle with yourself this season, and feel the love in your heart. Feel the memories, but feel the love in your heart. And we want to say until next time, take care of your hearts in maybe ways that you haven't already. It's really important to think about yourself as well.
Yeah. And be grateful. Be grateful for everything in your life.
That's
Truly.
right. Tomorrow's not promised, Lisa.
That's
We
right.
know that,
That's
right?
right. Thanks so much,
Thank
Susan.
you very much. Thank you.
Take
And thank
care.
you for joining us today. And Lisa, I will see you next week.
Sounds great. Okay. Bye.
Bye.